Today we're at RAF Hendon, and wow, have we got a video for you. So if you love planes, old and new, from different war times and different armies, especially those within the UK and also some of the other NATO countries, then have we got a video for you. The RAF Museum, its purpose is to tell the story of the RAF through its people and also through their incredible collections. And as you can see here, just looking at some of these things, and we're in the first aerodrome. Now what's incredible about this place is you look at it from the main road and you think, oh, okay, it's just a single hangar. Believe you me, don't be fooled. You will need to spend a whole day here because there is just so much to see. And yes, that's one of the Red Arrows planes that you're looking at here as well. Now, if you're not from this country and you don't know much about the Red Arrows, they often use these during celebrations when they're flying over Buckingham Palace and they've got the different coloured steam or different coloured smoke coming out of the back. Now there is so much to see and there are so many different things in the collection, including different sort of tanks and also different sort of motor vehicles, including boats. So we're going to show you a variety, but we're definitely going to concentrate more on the planes because I just have that funny feeling if you're watching from around the world, that's what you really want to see. But if you do get a chance to come down here, you can see all sorts of things, including, there you go, you've got clocks, you've got uniform, you've got all different bits and pieces here. The RAF Museum here at Hendon is actually situated in Colindale, so if you're coming here by public transport, the easiest way to get here is by Colindale Tube Station, which is on one of the northern branches of the Northern Line. Yes, that's the black line that goes up from the sort of the south of the tube map to the north, and they get off at Colindale and it's about a 5 to 10 minute walk from there. And as you can see here, you've got different types of missiles and bombs that were used, and that one with all the explosives packed into it is quite incredible. And then also you've got some of the bombs with parachutes that were used as well. So, as I show you around in this video some of the things you can see, we'll also tell you about the history of this aerodrome, because this museum is actually built on an aerodrome, which in 1910 the London Aerodrome Company Limited acquired this large site here in Colindale to operate as an airfield. What I love is you've got lots of different things, including these memorabilia and also those medals that you've seen already, and then you go right up to modern history with one of these RAF rescue helicopters. With a number of these exhibits, you're encouraged to climb the stairs here and have a good look inside, and also there's some planes we're going to go in later as well, which will bring you. You're even encouraged to sit on this seat, and this is one of the seats from the fighter jets, and as you can see, it's all togged up here with all of the sort of the seat belts and also all of the sort of the emergency equipment and everything else that's around you. What's great is you've got a collection of both old things and also new, like above the where we're standing now, you've got a sort of a outside of the F-35 jet, which actually here is a model of it here. And then as you go through this section, not only have you got models of more up-to-date aircraft, you've also got things like satellites, which are often used, of course, in orbit to help sort of track different planes and also things that are happening. And of course, used by the RAF and many others as well. So you've really got a great mix of old and new. Not only that, you've got a lot of interactive things to do. So if you're bringing young children with you, not only can you admire the things that are going on here, but you can also get them to come and play with these things like this interactive table that we've got here. Now this plane we're looking at is the Short Sutherland MR5, which was a flying boat patrol bomber, which served through the Second World War. It was also so heavily armed that it became known as the Flying Porcupine. So the great news about this is you can actually get on and walk through the middle of the fuselage. Now, to do that, first of all, you need to go through this entrance piece, and you need to be a bit of a contortionist because you need to be able to climb through here because, of course, it's quite cramped inside. Once you get through there, and of course you pass that test, then you get right inside and you can look up and down the fuselage and you can see the conditions that people used to fly in when they were flying in this plane. Now, we're looking towards the back, and then we're going to go walking through and go towards the front as well. But you just get a feel for what it must have been like to be in here when you're on a mission. By the way, this is completely free to go on. There's no extra admission charge or anything else like that. You just literally just come in and have a go. Oh, and by the way, whilst we're talking of admission charge, there isn't. Yes, the RAF Museum here at Hendon is completely free to you to come in, which is incredible. So one of the things I would really suggest so you get the most out of this visit is buy their souvenir guide, because it just gives you a guide to some of the planes that you've got there, although they do have information around. Now, as we go through into the next section, you've got more idea of what it was used for. Yes, some of the bombs that they've got on the wings. Also, whilst you're walking through, you get a commentary as well from relatives of people that used to actually serve on this plane, and it just recounts the history and some of the stories that they used to tell, which are quite incredible. And it's funny, did you notice earlier the stretchers or the little beds that you'd had? So if they were taking it in turns on shifts, they'd go and lay on one of those. Yeah, I don't think you'd probably get much sleep up on those, would you, really? One of the things I would really encourage is go through here a couple of times, especially if it's really busy, because you don't have to feel the pressure, because of course, because it's quite narrow, people are always trying to push past. It's, as I said before, you can queue and go through here as many times as you like because there's no charge for it at all. And I did that. I came through here about 2 or 3 times. You can even see, there we go, you've got the toilet there. And what you'll also notice when you come on the second time, the things that you've missed the first time round. So it is well worth doing this a couple of times. Oh, and by the way, don't forget, we're in the first hangar. We haven't even left to go to the other places yet. Yes, this place, the RAF Hendon, is absolutely vast. So here we leave the comfort of Hangar One. We go past some of the RAF boats which are here, and they've got details on the plaques right by them, and we're going to head down to Hangar 2 for some more incredible planes. So going back to the history of this place here, the London Aerodrome. So the aerodrome was purchased in 1911 by Claude Graham White, and he opened a factory here to build his company's designs and those of others. Now later that year, he ran the first AML service from the aerodrome to celebrate King George V's coronation and raise money for charity. Now in Hangar 2 you're looking at some of the incredible planes from World War One, which just seem absolutely incredible, and you've seen pictures of these maybe before. But to be here and just look at some of these bi-wing planes, probably got the term wrong, and I dare say you're probably typing away now, but you know what I mean, they've got 2 big wings on them. It's just absolutely incredible to be here in their presence. Now, continuing on our history in the timeline, it's appropriate we're in here near the First World War plains, but in 1912, the first of the popular Daily Mail aerial derbies started and ended at Hendon. Now, around 3 million people turned out across London to watch, and over 45,000 people paid for admission to the enclosures. The day ended with Claude Graham-White giving a demonstration of night flying. Here we're looking at one of the original training planes that were used. So you can see you've got the front bit and you've got the bits at the back, but you haven't got a middle bit, and that's because it was exclusively used for training. Continuing with the history of Hendon, but by 1914 the flying displays began to include aerobatics, and on the 9th of May 1914, William Newell made England's first parachute jump from an aeroplane. As well as promoting flying as a sport, the displays caught the eye of the military, who could see the potential for use of this new technology in warfare. By 1918, the London Aerodrome and the surrounding area had become a really important centre of aircraft production, with over 5,000 people working for the local aircraft industry. Companies included Airco on the Edgware Road and Hadley Page Limited at Cricklewood. Aeroville, which was an estate which still exists today, was built for Graham-White's workers. Men were employed mainly in areas of carpentry and metalwork. Women were usually seamstresses or carried out unskilled tasks such as dopping, applying lacquer to stiffen the fabric covering an aircraft. During the First World War, more women were recruited to take the place of men conscripted into the forces. The Graham-White factory, which is this Hangar 2, and you can just see it at the back there behind that plane, was built between 1915 and 1918, which makes it just over 100 years old. So actually just walking into this hangar alone and actually thinking this was one of the original factories really does take you back in time. Although it is worth saying that the building was dismantled from near Aerodrome Road, which is the main road you have as you come in, and was re-erected in the same orientation in the museum back in 2003, so they just moved it back to make room for the new housing. The craftsmanship on this plane is incredible. Just look at that propeller, solid wood, and also the wooden body on it as well. Now you know how much we like to give you tips so you can come and enjoy these places even more, and we discovered that you can not only get up onto the balcony here, but you get an amazing view over the whole hangar, and actually some of the planes at your level as well. But it's an undiscovered little gem, so when you get to the end, and that's where it says the Graham-White Company across, you just walk through. There are lifts that take you up there and also stairs, but do come and spend some time and have a good look, because you get a completely different view of this hangar from up here on the balcony. Dipping back into the history of this place, but after the First World War, demand for aircraft ceased, and Claude Graham-White tried to repurpose his factory to build cars and furniture, but it closed in 1924. The airfield was taken over as RAF Hendon in 1926 and became home to the Volunteer Auxiliary Air Force. The first residents at RAF Hendon, numbers 600 and 601 auxiliary squadrons, arrived in January 1927, and a period of construction soon after enabled the formation of number 604 Squadron. So that was Hangar 2. Hope you thoroughly enjoyed that. Next, we're going to make a move across the next hangar. But the good news is, if you've got children with you, you've got a little play area, and those buildings you can see there on the right hand side are the cafes, so you can come and get food and various other bits and pieces there as well. And those are quite big restaurants, so even when it's busy down here, they've got plenty of room to cater. And as you can see, you've got outside places you can sit as well. Right, that's our next destination, our next hangar. And when you come in here, you've got much more modern technology. Yes, you've got more up-to-date planes, but don't worry, we'll be going back in time when we get to the following hangar. Yes, there's even more to see. Now, another tip for you, get up on the balcony. Not many people do, as I observed when I was here, but when you're up on the balcony, you get even better views of the planes as well. See, we want you to come down here and enjoy this place as much as possible. So in here, not only have you got more up-to-date planes, and also make sure you do take use of those stairs so you can get up to the level of the cockpit and have a good look in. Now, you can't get in, but you can have a good look in. But what also you've got in here as well is more modern machinery, and these are drones. So you've got one here, and you've also got one up at the back there as well. So you've heard the term staring down the barrel of a gun. How about staring down the barrel of a plane? No, I don't think that probably goes, but you know what I mean. How about that for a head-on view? So not only have you got the planes here, but as I said before, you've got all different sorts of memorabilia. And this is an airfield chapel, which was used at Port Stanley back in the early 1980s during the Falklands conflict. And this is where people came when they wanted to have a chapel service, a religious service, and they used to come and sit in here. And as you can see, it's just converted from an old crate. Here we move into the next hangar, and it's not just one hangar. It's 3 massive hangars combined, all full of different planes. See, I told you there's so much to see down here. So my recommendation would be, if you really want to get a great day in, make sure you allow over half a day, because when I was going round and I was just having sort of a cursory look and getting as much filming in as possible so I could bring this to you, I know I spent 3 hours, and I wasn't expecting to spend anywhere near it. But as you can see from some of the things you can see here, to be quite honest, you may well need to spend a whole day. Get there early and finish late. Really hope you're enjoying this video of the RAF Hendon Museum, and if you are, you know what you need to do. Give the video a thumbs up, will you, so we can share this with more people so that they can love London and everything they can see here as well. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go on, hit that button. Also hit the bell notification, because we upload videos 3 times a week, plus podcasts as well on this channel, so you want to make sure you get informed every time we have. So as you're having a good look around some of the planes that they've got here in these hangars, let's tell you more about the history of RAF Hendon, which in the Second World War was an active fighter command station. And in September 1940, with the Battle of Britain raging, No. 504 Squadron, equipped with Hurricanes, moved here. During the middle of the war in 1942, the site's role changed again, and it became a transport hub, and runways were constructed to support the heavier transport aircraft. Members of the royal family and Winston Churchill were among those travelling from the base. After the Second World War, Hendon continued as an active airfield for air shows, transport and gliding. The US Navy stationed a transport squadron here for a brief period, but the last RAF flying unit and the US Navy both had left by 1957. Some flying did continue in the form of popular gliding school, providing training for air cadets. In 1968, the airfield closed, and most of the site was taken over by the London Borough of Barnet, which began construction of the Graham Park housing estate in 1969, an area currently being redeveloped as part of the Colindale regeneration scheme. We've still got so much more to bring you, but the planes here are absolutely incredible. And then you get to this section, which are helicopters from the RAF, and you've got all sorts of helicopters in here, and you can't believe you're standing next to this massive one here as well. So if we look at the museum itself, it's actually brought together aircraft from the RAF, the Royal Aeronautical Society and the aircraft industry. Now, there were too many to display here at Hendon, so some were stored at RAF stations around the country. Gradually, these aircraft were brought to Hendon, or to the Aerospace Museum over in Cosford, which in 1998 became the RAF Museum at Cosford. In 2018, the museum's RAF Centenary Transformation Programme introduced a new landscape, reflecting the site-rich aviation heritage, the grass-filled area of the London Aerodrome and the taxiway and the Gate Guardians serving as reminders of the RAF Hendon's role in the Second World War. Now you can see people here right up close to the planes. Now that's not the general public, but as you go around these hangars, what's absolutely incredible, especially in these ones here near the end, is you've got people that are doing engineering works, restoration works on it, but actually you've got a very thin border just to keep you away from the plane. So you can get really, really close like I am here with this video, but also in some of them, like this big one we're about to go underneath, you can stand right underneath them as well, which is quite impressive. And when you stand underneath this one, you just realise how much of the hangar this plane takes. It's incredible. So this is the Vulcan, also known as the Tin Triangle, and was a distinctive sight and sound for 3 decades and become known for its long-range black bug missions of the Falklands campaign. So it's here taking pride of place in this corner of the museum, and wow, does it take up some space. By the mid-1960s, the Vulcan was being used in a low-level penetration role, but when the Royal Navy Polaris missiles took over the UK nuclear deterrent, it adopted a conventional bomber role in support of NATO. The last 6 operational RAF Vulcans served as an in-flight refuelling tankers until 1984. In the 1970s, the introduction of laser-guided bombs enhanced accuracy and changed the way the RAF conducted operations. And just standing under its payload doors and by its wheels, you get the feel for how massive it is. As I said before, the collection here at RAF Hendon is absolutely vast, and I think what also builds it up and makes it a great collection to come and see, it's not just RAF, it's from around the world. You've got so many different planes here. Now, coming from me, and I'm not a war or a plane enthusiast, but I must admit, as soon as I walked out of this place, I was so impressed, because it is just an incredible place to come. And remember, it is completely free. Unless you're driving here and you pay a car parking fee. But let's face it, most people, Colindale station on the Northern Line and you'll get here, and once again it's completely free. But also, if you're thinking of coming down here at peak times, that's on weekends or alternatively during school holidays or other holidays, then do go online and book your ticket in advance, because if you book your ticket in advance, at least you're guaranteed to come in here. And once again, make sure you do allocate enough time, because it really is one of those places that you come to. Because also when you come here to Hendon and to Colindale, there aren't many other great things to do around here, so it's one of those things you make a special trip for. Now, what I really love as well is you've got quite a few of these different leaflets and things that you can use with children to keep them entertained, and I saw so many school parties here using these things as well. So it's really great, not just on an interactive aspect, but also you can get up close, encourage children and everyone else to get up here and get really close to the planes as well, because it really does make the whole event feel extremely special. And And my final tip I would give you is not just take the time, go backwards and forwards. You can go into the different hangars as many times as you want. You can go via different places, but really do just spend the time to enjoy it here at Hendon. So as you arrive and leave, you're greeted with this Spitfire outside the front of the museum. So what did you think of RAF Hendon? And what was your favourite plane or your favourite part of the museum? Do let us know in the comments down below. It'll be fantastic to see. Now if you want to support the channel more, if you scan the QR code, it'll take you to buy us a coffee. So it'll help support the channel even more. Now up in the top right hand corner, I've put our video of our trip to the Imperial War Museum in the centre of London. A place that so many people forget. And if you love this video, you'll definitely love that one. So if you click on the link, I'll see you in there.